First of all, welcome to all our participants, audience who are here to hear us talk about experience of our alumni, Mihir Patkar, who is presently in Germany and right now in the weather of -2 degrees. I think some of you who would have joined us from Delhi will be feeling some cold. Some you have joined us from the other parts of India might not. But I, staying in a cold area, I can appreciate what Mihir is going through in a -1 degree. Okay. Welcome everybody. I am Ankur Dhawan. I am president at upGrad. I manage this particular unit called upGrad Abroad, and our agenda is to help more and more of our learners, more and more students from India to take up affordable courses abroad and benefit by building their careers abroad. And with that initiative, we keep bringing successful alumni who have studied abroad and now are working abroad to understand their journey, their decision process, and to learn from them. So feel free to ask your questions. Please ask all your questions in Q&A box. It will help us in answering them better instead of going through your chat process. The other part which I will say, please keep your questions specific to Germany. Mihir and I both will be able to answer questions related to Germany, and specifically I'll say more towards if you can ask questions on IUBH, you want to understand a little bit about IUBH, how the university operates. I think Mihir will be the right person to answer those questions. So let's go with this brief and then see how it progresses. To open the session, I will ask Mihir to introduce himself, give us information about where he comes from in India, what has he done in his earlier career before joining IU, what course did he pursue, and what is he doing currently. I think let's start with these 4 questions.
So yeah, hello everyone, and thank you very much, Ankur, for inviting me for this platform to address students, prospective students. Yeah, myself Mihir Patkar here, and I come from Mumbai, India, and I have completed my bachelor's in computer engineering. And after that, I was working for 3.5 years as an SAP consultant, specifically SAP developer. And after that, I decided to pursue my MBA. My master's from IU University, and with the specialization of IT management, and I have completed my course in October 2021. After that, I'm working full time as an SAP developer at Gremont. So I'm currently living in Berlin itself.
Wow. So let's start with Berlin. I think a lot of our learners who are considering IUBH are very interested in going to Berlin campus, and so they want to know more about Berlin as a city. So one question which comes to everybody's mind: what is the living cost I will have to incur in Berlin? The German authority talks about €861 per month, but what is the real cost? So maybe that will be a good starting point here, because you have lived there for 1.5 years. You can tell us about Berlin. Yeah.
Yes, sure. So Berlin is quite an international city, like international in terms of there are many students who are from different background, different countries here. So language is not that big of a problem here, like many English speaking people you can find. And living cost, as you mentioned, you get €861. That is, everything depends on your house rent. The how much is your house rent, it will be that significant. 861 is more than enough, I would say. You can, from that you can save around €100 to €200 you can save as well per month, but it depends on your lifestyle. If you're traveling every weekend, then it won't be possible that much. But yeah, 1 or 2 trips here and there, and the less rent, like if you have the house rent of around 300 350, then it is very well manageable with that cost.
This 300 350 euro which you're talking about, is it in shared accommodation or like single accommodation?
Shared accommodation, but like you will have a private bedroom for yourself.
Okay.
And kitchen and other spaces would be shared. That's how it would be.
Okay. And how far it will be from the IU campus?
That depends. Actually, we can't say that. There are multiple institutes which provides student accommodation. So they have their apartments at multiple locations. So you could get somewhere near as well. and somewhere far as well. But IU provides you this semester ticket. So with that ticket, you can travel anywhere in Berlin for free. Any bus, train, tram, everywhere.
Okay,
So traveling is not that a problem.
got it.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned, if you do too many trips that you can't save, but so what was your experience? How many trips were you able to make out of Berlin?
Frankly speaking, I was quite unfortunate because Corona was there, so I couldn't make much of the trips.
Okay.
I went to one or two places that's at we were able to do it because there were a lot of restrictions and stuff. So that was the case.
Good, good.
Yeah.
So when you were thinking about studying abroad, Mihir, I'm sure there might be many options. So there must be Canada, US, Australia,
Yeah.
Germany. And I'm assuming when you started thinking about studying abroad, that time the COVID was not there. So just to
Yeah.
understand from that perspective, how did you choose Germany and not any other country, let's say France or Canada or US?
Yeah, so Germany, my prime factor was financial reasons. Like Germany, education in Germany is quite cheap. If you get a public university, it is the fees is very low in that terms, and compared to other countries, living cost and education, if you combine both of them, it is quite low. So that was my prime motive as well, and plus my experience was in SAP. So it's the Germany is the hub for SAP. So that's the reason as well. So I opted for Germany to
Okay.
study here.
So you're working in Germany. So you're working in SAP, which is a German company, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So yeah, that was one of the reasons why you were inclined. So
Yes.
now to understand this part, now you have a very, I'll say, unique profile. You are a B Tech or BE in computer engineering,
BE. Yeah.
BE,
Yes.
and post that you decided to do your MBA in IT management and not taken a
Yeah.
MS computer science. So just to
Yes.
understand, what was the reason? Why did you go for an MBA and not a MS computer science program?
Yeah. That's quite a good question. Like, yeah. So I used to talk with my seniors and in my team members and everyone. So I get their perspective as well. Like down the line, when you are quite experienced, you are offered certain management positions as well. So for that, sometimes MBA is required. It's not a mandatory requirement, but if you have it, it's a plus point. And in my previous experience, I got an opportunity to manage my own team
Mhm.
kind of, and to handle multiple stuff at a time, and how managers are handling multiple segments. So I found my interest in that. So down the line, when I'm if I get the opportunity, I would be interested in going into the management domain. So for that, the degree shouldn't be an issue. So that's the reason I decided to pursue MBA.
Yeah, I agree. Most of us actually, as we grow within the organization, are expected to take more of a managerial responsibility, whether it's a team management or project management or some kind of a sales management. So it's better to know the management principles. And doing bachelor's in computer engineering, I think you had sufficient knowledge about technology.
Yep.
So you are
Yes.
well versed with technology and not scared of technology. So a great choice. So just to understand this. You did a 3 semester course MBA in IT management,
Yes. Yeah.
and so your experience of studying with IU, what will you say were the best part of the studying with IU, and we'll come to the other part later. So just to understand,
Yeah.
what do you like a lot about studying with a university like IU?
Yeah. So the concepts which they used to teach, they were quite practical oriented. Like if they teach a certain concept, they will present to you a practical scenario or a case study, and based on that, we have to make certain decisions, or they used to draw questions from that, and we have to answer them. So that part was quite interesting. So it was quite relevant to the practical experiences which will have in future in the companies. So that part I liked a lot in IU, the method of teaching.
And in terms of the faculty, I'm sure a lot of your studies still happen online. What
Yeah.
will be your take on the faculty of IU?
Yeah, faculties are quite friendly. Like they accommodate you. Like I was in a technical background, so switching on to MBA was kind of switching the field itself. So certain concepts like economics, it's I never liked that subject, but The concepts I was not quite strong at it, but they used to teach from the basics and explain everything, and they didn't just directly jump onto the higher level. So they used to accommodate the students level as well, and after that they used to teach the other concepts. So that part I liked a lot in that.
Got it. Now, let me take one question from our guest, Shreya. She's asking that, do we need IELTS to study in Germany? What was your sin? Did you study?
Yeah, I had to take up IELTS, but it is not a fixed pattern as such. Other like different universities have different requirements. But in my case, yeah, I had to take up IELTS for this.
So Shreya, so Mihir had to take an IELTS, but as on date, if you want to study in IU, even if you have a medium of instruction as in English and you can give us the proof that your MOI is in English, then you do not need to take an IELTS exam to study in Germany. So yeah, rules keep changing. At present, the rules are relaxed, and IU allows you to give a MOI of English to study with them. Okay, now I'll take another question which I see. One person is asking, what course to choose for MS after BE Mechanical? I think it's a not a straightforward, because we don't know if we know much about you. What exactly do you want to pursue as an aspiration? As far as the options which are available with upGrad and IU Germany, I can tell you that you have an option of pursuing a management domain. In case you want to go for a management program, as Mihir explained that after doing his BE in computer engineering, he decided to go for a management. Then you have option of taking an MBA, and if you do not have sufficient work experience, still you can take masters in international management. But at the same time, IU is very flexible, and I think German education, I liked a lot about that, is that they give you options to study what you want to study rather than pushing on you their ideas. So as a BE mechanical student, you also have option of studying computer science, and you also have an option of studying data science. So it completely depends on you, what you want to choose. All the fours are actually available for you to choose from, and all of the four courses will leverage what you have learned in your bachelor's of engineering. So that's what I will say as an answer to your question. So Mihir, you are working right now, as you mentioned. So one question which people will ask, and this is the biggest question for a parent actually.
Yeah.
If I send my kid to study abroad, after completing his course, will he depend on me again to support him, or will he find a job? So I believe you have found a job, and that looks like a quick. So what is the scope of a IT management as well as computer science kind of roles in Germany, and how was your journey to find a job?
Yeah. So my case, like we faced a lot of difficulties due to Corona. Like the markets were shut down, everything was shut down. So the business were not working. So eventually we didn't have much of the opportunities. But yeah, still I managed to find a job by May 2021. Like during my course itself, I was offered a working student contract, and once I completed my course, I got the full-time opportunity. So jobs for IT domain, there are a lot of jobs available. The market is open now, so many new openings are coming up. We can check that on LinkedIn as well. We can see how many posts are coming in, and that's the scenario right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So Adarsh, I think you asked this question: what is the career scope for a computer engineering with 2+ years of experience in IT sector? And you have an ideal profile of Mihir here, who has done the computer engineering, 3.5 years of experience, did an MBA in IT management, and he feels that there are a lot of opportunities in Germany for people who have IT skills to find a job. So on that note, I also want, because you said you got a student working contract.
Yeah.
How was the experience? And you were in COVID, so I want to know more
Yeah.
from you. How was the
Yeah.
experience of finding part-time jobs? Were you able to find part-time jobs during your time in Germany?
Yeah, the finding part-time jobs is quite easy. You get it easily. That's not an issue. And finding something the like internships or that takes a little bit of time, but wherever the customer interaction comes in, German language comes in. So if you have a good proficiency in German language, it is way more easier for you to find the jobs. Like if it will open up almost 80% of the job market for you, and it will become a very smooth process. If you don't know German, still it is not that big a issue. You will find the job, but you'll have to struggle a little bit more. That's the only case. And as you mentioned earlier as well, like a parent would feel whether he will be dependent or not, then I would assure you that 100% you won't be dependent, but depends on the lifestyle as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you will find some of the other job. Yeah, that's true.
Now, on the German language, because you touched on this part, and I know Berlin is a cosmopolitan city, so you don't really need
Yes.
to worry about German language.
Yeah.
What is your proficiency in German language? How much have you learned?
I'm not that good at languages any of it, but I am on A2 level currently. I'm not that proficient enough, but my role doesn't require much of the German language. Our communication is in English, but
Yeah,
yeah, we have opportunities to learn German through the company itself. So I'm in process.
got it. Yeah, I think all the companies will help you learn German.
Yes. Yeah.
Beauty of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, now what I understand from you, German language, if you can learn, it's good. Your job market opens more for you. But without
Yeah.
German language, like A2 also, in the IT sector, you don't have any choice. And you have done an MBA in IT management. So I'm assuming as an MBA in IT management, you can do management
Yeah.
without knowing much of the German language. Yeah.
No, for management positions, you will require majorly German. But if you are going for a junior positions, internships, for those kind of stuff, English would be sufficient. It all depends on companies and their requirements. So yeah.
Yeah. So one question which I see from Akash Mohanan, and he's asking this question. I think he's asked a few more questions, but this one I want to take it up. He's asking that I am from mechanical engineering department, so I have not done a IT, and he believes IU is only known for IT and management courses, which is right. IU is known for IT and management courses. Is he saying that okay, if I come from a mechanical engineering background, can I do a MBA in IU, or does it make sense? Will I be able to do it? So based on your cohort, your peers in IU who did study with you, were there mechanical engineers there?
Mechanical, I think so. One or two were there. There were of diverse background who were doing IT management. Like they were nowhere related to IT. So doing an MBA in IT management is you don't have to worry about anything technical. They will be into the management stuff, like how the IT project would work, how their functioning is, what are the different topics which are there, which you have to take care of. There is nowhere coding or anything. It's not like that. So even if you're from mechanical background, you could go for MBA in that.
Yeah, and Akash, just to add, there is another option in MBA, another specialization which is available. You can look at that, which is engineering management, which is very, very related to what you have learned in the manufacturing, the IoTs, the devices which I use currently to automate a lot of manufacturing setup. You can learn that as well. So MBA is a diverse field. Uh, any domain you do your bachelor's, you can always end up doing an MBA. And you can specialize as per your requirement. You can do IT management, you can do engineering management, or you can go for the regular fields of finance and accounting, and other stuff. So hope Akash, this answers your question. How is Anupam Darutkar, who is asking this question? How is IU international? Is it good for data science course? Is it a good university for international students? So I will skip the question on data science, but I can obviously ask Anupam the other two questions. How is IU international, and is it a good university for international students? So you can just answer how many students were there from international students there in your batch.
Yeah. So majorly, I would say 90% were international students, out of which 70% were Indians. So they take care of you, like the college takes care of you of all your needs and everything. So it's not an issue. So it's fine.
Yeah. So Anupam, I believe the answer here is that IU has a lot of international students. Now many are from India, and you are from India, and I am from India. As we are doing this course, many more from India will go next year from our cohort as well. So you are in good hands. The university takes care of all the international students. There are 2 campuses which they have only dedicated to international students. Now, on the question around is it good for data science course? I think it is good for IT, tech, management courses. Data science is having both the component, IT as well as management. So it depends on you how what course you want to pursue. I will definitely recommend data science course of IU if you are interested in doing data science as a career in long run. Now, so what was your part-time job? I just want to understand because we touched on this particular point. So what kind of part-time job were you able to get your time?
Yeah, like I was in this in this SAP development itself. It was the same profile. It was a working student contract. Yeah, like here, instead of internship, sometimes if you have the experience, they provide you working student contract in which you can work for as a student itself. You can work for only 20 hours per week.
Mm,
So that's the German law.
mm.
And so for experienced professionals, they sometimes give you the working student contracts. So I was working in that in as an SAP developer itself.
And I know this question should not be asked in this open forum, but just to understand the wages, because I know their minimum wages around 9 point some euros.
Yeah.
Were you able to get the same, or because you are an SAP developer, were you able to get more? Just for my understanding.
Yeah, I can say the exact number. It's fine, not a problem. Like I was getting around 12.5 euros per hour,
Wow.
but my company was kind of a startup one. It was not a big MNC, so that's the reason. But sometimes you get more than that as well. So average is, I would say, 12.
And I think if it's 12 euro per hour, I think you can manage your living expenses very well.
Very much, very easily, because for 1 year you have the blocked account. So
Yeah.
861 euros per month you would be getting, and anything above that you are earning, that would be your additional saving only. Nothing would be used from that. So
Yeah.
once your blocked account is done, you will have money for your expenses as well.
Got it.
So that's how it is.
Just for everyone, I think a lot of questions are being asked on chat box. Very difficult for me to go to chat box. Please use the Q&A to ask your questions so that we can get that answered. One question, Mihir, again, something which you might not reveal, is in terms of how much was the tuition fee which you paid. I just wanted to bring out this particular point. What was the tuition fee which you had paid when you had gone and studied at IU for your MBA program?
For my entire course,
And yeah,
uh,
tuition fee.
uh,
I want to understand nothing else.
okay, so for entire course it was around 7,000 euros, I guess, per
7,000 rupees per semester.
per semester. But because it went online, we had certain discounts as well, like
Okay.
considerable discounts we had.
Yeah, so I think it's a 21,000 euros was the fees at the time, and you would have paid
Yeah,
40,000 or something.
yeah,
For everybody's knowledge, right now the university has decided to reduce the fees significantly, I'll say, and
yeah,
you have an option of doing the whole course in if you do a 1 semester plus 2 semester within the 10 lakhs, 1 semester online and 2 semester on campus. And if you do 2 semester online, 1 semester on campus, then it can go to 7.5 lakhs. So you have a very, very good deal,
yeah,
which is brought to you by COVID-19. So whether you like it or not, the university has decided to reduce the fees because of circumstances in which students are right now, and they want more and more students to take this course. So yeah, so Mihir, when he went, he paid that high fees. You can avoid paying that fees and get the same degree. So
yeah.
benefits of COVID-19, which we never wanted in our lives.
Yeah. That's true.
so, so okay, now I'm just going some questions here. Akash, I think I have answered your question. With tech, are you only referring to only CS, IT, or mechanical civil also? Akash, that question has been answered. I want to do MSc Biotechnology from Germany. How could I do? Varda Firdaus. Varda, please go ahead and search for the courses available on dad.de is one of the website where you can go and find the courses on MSc Biotechnology and choose the right course for you. We don't have any biotechnology course. We have 4 courses. One is in data science, the other is a computer science course. And then we have 2 management courses depending upon your work experience, whether you want to take for MIM or you want to go for an MBA. Good evening. If you are going for Germany, I think we have answered this question. IELTS question, so I'm just skipping it. What is the scope of electronics and communication engineer? Is it good to do MS in ECE Germany? Uh, Deepak, your question would have been no, neither Mihir nor I am in the position to answer the scope of electronics and communication in Germany. I'm sure there will be a huge scope. Nearly all the professions have huge scope in Germany. But as an electronics and communication engineer, you can also do MS in computer science with the IU Germany. So if you are interested in building your career in future in computer science, you have an option of studying with IU Germany. Answers. UTTJPS, whatever your name is. I am an aerospace engineer. I need MSc in Germany. Do you know the procedure? UTTEJPS. I think you can, as I mentioned earlier, you have option of either doing an MS in data science if you have a 1 year work experience, which is a very apt field for an aerospace engineer. And in case you want to also explore computer science, the option is available, MS in computer science with IU Germany. Kayur is asking a very difficult question. Can you show us the view of Berlin from your accommodation? It will be very, very.
I'm on laptop right now.
It will be a very.
I'm on laptop right now.
Why don't you go to the Germany and Berlin and have a real life view? So yeah, I'll. Here is good for data science course. It's good university for. I think this question is already answered. I think I'll pick some questions later, but Mihir, right now, as you see the scope of finding opportunities in Germany, let's say a student who has already opted for IU Germany course, maybe he'll come next year, this year only, let's say October. One thing they want to know is the career services provided by IU Germany. You were not able to go much to the campus, but do you have any experience of career services? How was it? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So the resume and how the cover letters and everything, how we develop it in India, it's quite format is quite different over here. So when you apply for the jobs, there are there are softwares which is used by the companies, so they filter out the resume itself. So if you don't have that particular format, it is rejected straight away, so it doesn't even go to HR. So for resumes and cover letters, they provide the support. Like there is one career officer, I would say, he would help us out in this regards. Then there is a job platform as well, wherein the different requirements of the jobs are posted and we could apply from there and stuff. And they give us the information about the career fairs which are located in different locations. Also, like our career officer invites different company people for workshops or for other sessions for to interact with the students, so they will get to know the students and we get an contact with them, and we could then eventually go to their companies and apply. So those kind of services are provided. Like how we have in India the campus placement, that concept is nowhere there in Germany. I think outside India nowhere the campus placement concept is there. So these are the services. So, and also different openings which are relevant to our fields, we get frequent mails from the universities like so and so opening is available, you could apply, and they help out in the application process as well. So they were quite helpful in that terms. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. That makes sense. And because you did not know German language, you were able to find even a lot of opportunities without German language.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And given that Berlin, as I mentioned, is also known as a startup capital of Europe.
Yes, that's true. Mhm.
So, are there a lot of jobs available with startups?
Yeah, there are a lot of jobs available with the startups. Like in Berlin, majority of the companies are startups, or they have just started their companies and on the verge of scaling up. So they have a lot of opportunities and stuff. Yeah, even my company as well. Like they are existing in 5 cities in Europe only, but our Berlin team is around 20 to 25 people, not more than that. So now a lot of projects are coming in, and the growth is quite promising. So that's how it is. So new and new requirements come up.
So can
how
a
the market
student
is.
also do a startup once, like if someone is really looking to do a startup in Germany, will he get a
Yeah.
chance to do a startup in Germany?
Definitely. One of my friend, I'd like to share that incident as well. One of my friend is trying to do a startup. He approached me as well, like, would you help us out in certain management aspects? Like we all are new, but we are going to try. So let's give it a try. So we had posted our all the documents for the application for funding and everything. But they had already closed or certain due to certain requirements we were not able to get it. But he's still in the process of that. So there are a lot of opportunities in that terms as well. And once you get the funding, you get around 2000 euros per month for your expenses and everything.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Startup that
quite overwhelming,
the
yeah, for
government.
startup.
Yeah.
From the no, not the from the incubators, like who are
Incubation.
funding your startup. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So you get
Yeah.
got it.
Yes. Yeah.
Good. I think I'll just take this question. Hi, Mihir, Ankur, how to apply for online mode to on-campus learning mode? And when we have to initiate this process, will I say if I'm started with first on online and remaining as on-campus study? So Manjunath, and one of our counselor will get in touch with you and will help you with this question specifically. You asked how do you move from online to on-campus? High level, once you complete your first semester courses and you have completed and got the credits for that, you can start applying for visa. And once you have your visa, you go to on campus in Germany and complete the remaining 2 semesters in Germany. IU has a flexibility that even if once you have completed your 3 subjects, you have got your proctored exams done, and you have this grade sheets, then your visa process can start. So basically, when you are studying the remaining 3 subjects parallelly, you will complete your visa process and you can go to campus in the available intake. More details will be offered by our counselors and who will get in touch with you. Gargi, I think, is asking question to you only. Uh, I am currently pursuing MBA in HR from Mumbai. So she is from Mumbai. So one more Mumbaikar. I have done graduation in computer application and now I'm thinking of switching back to that field like cybersecurity or similar in Germany. Is it a good idea or should I go for an MBA in IT? So I think she's trying to understand whether she should do a course in computer science, MS in computer science versus MBA in IT. And how should she decide between the 2 subjects? I think there was a question which I asked you in the beginning. What will be your answer, Mihir?
It depends. Nothing is right or wrong in this case. It's just a perspective. Like I would say market for both of them is quite good right now. Like IT projects are coming in, so you will have the requirement for the technical stuff. And also you require management for that perspective as well. So you have management positions as well for that. So it depends on your choice and interest. Like what would you like to take up in
Yeah,
that case?
got it. There's one question I think has been asked to me. Hi, Mihir, Ankur, can you compare the pros versus cons for public or private university? IU, for example. Uh, um, Karan is asking this question. Do you want to say anything about public university, Mihir?
Public university, like they are government funded, so the fees is the only differentiating factor. Quality of education is same, so they don't differentiate in that terms.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the only point which is differentiating.
So, Karan, again, this is my personal view, and you can decide based on your own circumstances. See, public university, though they are free, getting into public university is not that straightforward as you would be for IU admission. So, you'll have to do some hard work there. You need to have good grade. You need to give an IELTS exam. You might be asked to give GATE or GRE or GMAT, one of those exams, just to do the process. And then there's a lot of paperwork you need to do before you get an admission into public university. Now, while you're doing this paperwork and getting your visa and all those things, you are not studying at all. The benefit of studying in a model like IU, where you can start studying this month itself, let's say, is that you are able to complete a part of the course online when COVID is restricting you, when your visa process is going on, which means that your time to complete your course will be much shorter. So let's say you study 1 year online and 1 year on campus. The 1 year which you're doing online is actually your preparation to come to Germany as well. And when you come on campus, you only do 1 year of course. So let's say you start in 22, you will be in 24 employable with a company like Mihir here has got a job. And if you can get a job, and I'm not going to put a number there, let's say average salary of 50,000 euro is what you can get. The hard work which you're putting to get into public university is not beneficial if you lose that 1 year of salary of 50,000 just because you're completing your course. All the public university courses will be of 2 years. So you don't do 1+1 there, one online, one on campus. So answer to that question is, if you are really, really worried about saving money and you want to study in a public university to save money, then go for it. Otherwise, logically, it does not make sense to waste a year for getting into a public university. I think a lot of these questions are for public university only. Like, so I will MBA in IT versus MS in computer science Germany. Which one to prefer if I have experience as software engineer? This question is from Aryan. I think Mihir has already given some insight, but it's a very personal question, Aryan, to be honest. If you love your subjects in computer science, if you love coding, if you love algorithms, then go for computer science, MS in computer science. But if you want to develop as a manager in your future roles, where you do not want to do coding and do more of a people management, project management, timeline management, then MBA in IT might be a better choice. So after doing MBA in IT, what is your sense, Mihir?
I think I'm satisfied with what I've done. I'm not regretting anything. So down the line, when I'll be having a management position, I'll be able to cope with it and I'll be able to manage it.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Okay, Shweta, this question I'll ask for you. Have you? Okay, IU does not offer MBA in HR management. That's first answer, Shweta. If you want to pursue an MBA in HR, I'm sure there will be options available with other universities. But what is the scope of HR jobs in Germany? Do you have any insight on this, Mihir?
One of my colleague was in that same field in the HR, so she managed to land a job. And as far as I remember, like she had a German competency as well of B1 something, B1 or B2, and she didn't face much of the issue. Like before completing, like she's working on a thesis right now, and she has managed to land up a job, full-time job.
Got it. So yeah, so Shweta, I think jobs are there, no doubt about it. But as Mihir mentioned, that if you are looking to work in HR in Germany, your German language has to be good, because you're going to not only work with employees who are Indians or international, you'll be working a lot with Germans. You need to know your culture, you need to appreciate their culture, and you need to know their language. So I'll suggest, if you have a language proficiency of B2, then you can look at HR jobs in Germany. Okay. One question I saw. Then question, yes, you are asking it. Is it common to see studying masters there? Bachelor is not a good option there. Is it difficult to get university? Okay, so bachelors in Germany. I think it's not a bad. The school structure of Germany is a little different. Like we have a 12-year school. We call it K-12, as we all know. In Germany, it is a 13 years of school. So you have to do some additional work before you can take a bachelor's in Germany. Only thing I'll say, the bachelor's in Germany is something which is just a progression route. So you will have to do master's in Germany if you are looking for a good quality of job. Pure bachelor's will not is not something which is very appreciated in Germany. So you'll have to do your master's later. That is the reason I think people go for master's mostly. Yes, on this topic, I just want to take a pause and ask you, because you mentioned your thesis part. What was your thesis topic?
Oh, sorry, it's for me, right?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes. Yeah. So my thesis was on like parameterization of operational challenges.
Okay.
Like I created a evaluation model to which would help us to calculate certain values for the operational challenges in the companies. Like we have whatever operational challenges occur, like for example due to organization structure, like for delay in the responses of managers, what is the impact of that? There is, if you, how the issues occur due to that reason, due to the delay in responses or miscommunications. So usually discussions occur and the solutions are brought up. So if we have some mathematical model to evaluate that situation, it becomes easy to make decisions, and also the solutions which we might propose, we could evaluate that as well using that model. So my thesis was proposing that model. I had to build the model from scratch, and I had presented it.
Did you
So
do it with some company, like where you work
no,
in?
I did it with myself. Like we had mentor from I had my mentor from university. My professor helped me out, but I did it with myself only. Like, I
Okay.
did it on my own. Yeah.
Okay. And when the thesis is going on, when you're doing your thesis in colloquium, uh,
Yeah.
how much is the like you have to go to campus or not during that time? Or
No, thesis is like we don't have any lectures or anything. It's on us. Like if you want to go to campus, we can use the library facility and for that stuff only if you want to. Else, we don't have to go to campus.
got it, got it.
Yeah.
There is a guest. I don't know why she's asking this way. Hi, Mihir. Do you mind telling me how old you are? So, Mihir, there's someone who wants to know your age. You look very young.
Yeah, but I'm 27 right now.
Great. Yeah, so Neha, he's only 27. So I don't know what was the reason you asked this question, but he answered this. Shweta wants to understand what are the jobs website in Germany, which websites people use to
Yeah.
search for jobs in Germany.
Majorly it's LinkedIn, and also Xing is there. Then Stepstone is there. Monster, I think so. Monster is also there, and company platform. But primarily LinkedIn works best.
Got it.
So through that we can establish connections with the HR and everyone, and eventually get the job. I got my current job through LinkedIn only. Like I was approached by one of the recruiting person. I
Hmm.
was told, "Are you interested in so and so position in our company?" So I told yes. So the interviews occurred, and got the job.
Manju Nath wants to ask a question. Hi, Mihir. Are IUMBA exams tough to clear for all subjects? Please throw some light on that part. So, how difficult are the exams? I think Manjunath wants to know.
Exams are not at all difficult. Like I would be very frank. For 10 marks question, you are not supposed to write 10 pages here, as we write in India. They just expect certain points. If those points are written, even if you complete it 10 lines, you will get those 10 marks. They just that require the specific points. If those points are not there, you won't get the marks. So the evaluation might be quite surprising here, but it is quite in terms of evaluation, it's not that difficult if you provide the required answers, like the points, specific points. If you provide, you will be cleared.
And just to understand, so you did not really use the post-study work visa because you got the job beforehand, so you did not need to apply.
Yeah,
You just,
I didn't have to. Yeah, I directly got the job, so I was able to
yeah,
directly convert it from student to this.
student to turn the temporary resident visa, I'm assuming, or what do they call it?
It's a resident permit. I have got a blue card now. Yeah.
Oh, you are a EU blue card. Okay,
Yeah.
that gets you salary. Actually, you do whether you want
Yeah.
to tell or not.
Exactly.
EU blue card reveals your salary in a way. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mohan Kumar HP wants to know what is the procedure rounds to get into the company. I think you just want to know the process of getting a job with the company. I think it's basically you described it earlier as well. You apply and then you appear for your interviews and
Yes.
so.
So if it's a technical position, some technical 1 or 2 rounds might be there. Then the HR, sorry, then the HR discussion and the offer letter would be provided.
Got it. So the guest Pinu is she has asked again.
And like, yeah, I would like to add one point. Like due to the general data protection law, they are not supposed to ask the details of any jobs, so they usually stick to basic questions itself if it's a technical interview, so that becomes a little bit easy to answer. So they are not supposed to ask very personal or detailed questions regarding your work.
Okay.
That's how it is. So
So
yeah.
your thesis is something which you can share with them. Is it allowed as a when you are going for an interview? That is something you can tell about.
It is like a thesis was a part of evaluation, so I need to take the permission of the university for
Okay.
that, because it is supposed to be given to university for evaluation, so it is kind of answers to your questions,
Hmm.
so to the question paper, so we need to take the permission, but usually you can give a glimpse of it, what is it, how is it. Yeah.
So when you go for an interview, the kind of questions they will ask to judge your knowledge will be more theoretical, I'll say. Then in that case, they can't ask you
It
specific.
could be practical, but they will give you a hypothetical scenario maybe, and certain concepts which are generalized concepts, like for example, what is a computer, that's a generalized question. It is not specific, so those specific questions they'll ask.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Finu, you're asking, to be frankly, my only motive to earn more money with my respective field be mechanical. Please tell me what's going on in trend there. Finu, Mihir is not from mechanical engineering, so very difficult for him to give you any overview here. So I'll just ask you to reach out to someone who is from mechanical engineering background in Germany to answer this question.
But I
Um,
would like to add one point
yeah,
here,
yeah,
like all the automobiles, major automobile companies are from Germany. We
yeah.
all know that all the cars are so mechanical, has a huge uh, what do we say, role. Germany plays a huge role in mechanical stuff,
Sure,
so definitely you can then imagine the job market as well.
should be good.
All
Yeah.
the major, yeah, all the major car companies are from Germany.
Sure. So one question I think Maloth is asking: is GATE mandatory for admission to TU Berlin, TU Munich? We don't have any answer to that question. Maloth, you'll have to reach out to the university to understand whether they accept GATE or not. Um, Mohan Kumar, does MS 1 year online, 1 year in Germany, is it worth? Um, Mohan, answer to your question is why is it not worth? Let's go with that particular thought process. Uh, you are getting the same degree which a person would have got by studying 2 years in Germany. So that is one part. So you, when you're doing an online plus on campus, you are just not there on campus for 1 year. But at the same time, when you are in India, you are working in whatever jobs you're doing. So you are saving money by not being in Germany. So living cost is completely safe. Tuition fee is nearly half. At the same time, you are working somewhere and you can earn there. So that is the first part. And in terms of the job opportunities, after doing 1 year online and 1 year on campus in Germany, there will be zero difference in the job opportunities which you will get by staying 2 years in Germany. So 1+1 leads to the similar outcome versus 2 years on Germany. So I hope that answers your question. So ROI perspective, return on your education investment, the option of 1 year online, 1 year on campus Germany is way better than doing 2 years on campus. Okay, for roles like product manager, is German language compulsory? Adarsh is asking this question. Mihir, any idea about product management roles?
Yeah, management roles, German, you have to interact with clients and your employees, and you have to bridge the gap. So German language is required, I would say. But you have the study duration of 1.5 year. So you could be very well proficient in German during that study period. So when you pass out, you could apply for the whichever job you want.
Yeah,
Ideally, it takes around 6 to 7 months to reach till B1 from scratch.
yeah, got
Yeah.
it. It's a good 6 to 7 months to B1 is very good.
Yeah.
So others, I'm just adding one point from my knowledge of India as a product manager. Product manager's major role is to understand the consumer of his product. And if you are a product manager in Germany, you need to have very detailed insights on the way Germans interact with your product. So having a German language now might not be compulsory as per the rules. You can't do a great job unless you know German language as a product manager. manager. So that's the answer I will give. I see a question. Manjunath, how to apply for online mode? This I think we have already answered. There are 4 intakes in IU Germany, Manjunath. One in January, April, July, and September, October. So these 4 intakes in a year, they allow students to come on campus. Let's see if there's some useful question for us to answer. I think people are asking question. Does MBA in big data have scope in Germany, or MBA in IT management would be better? This is the question from Smriti Mishra. Do you have when you were doing, was a MBA in big data was an option, or was it not even an option?
I don't think so. We had big data. We just had IT management at that time.
Yeah.
I don't remember of big data.
Yeah. As an option. So now they have added a big data as an option. So Smriti, these are 2 very different fields. If you have interest in data science and you want to understand how large set of data should be analyzed, can be analyzed, then big data is a good field to get in. Otherwise, IT management is also good. But answer is that there are job opportunities for both of them. So it should be your personal choice in deciding whether you want to go for MBA in big data or MBA in IT management. Okay, so I think we have covered all the useful questions. Achha, one more question. Anupam is asking, I think you can answer this. Can a student do a full-time internship in Germany while on a student visa? Is this allowed?
Full-time internship, like you are allowed to work for 20 hours only per week. That's your allowance. But if you are on thesis, I think so there could be some exception.
Yeah, I think you can do thesis.
Companies only, I think so, won't provide you full-time. They just provide you part-time.
Yeah.
As a student, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what was meant by full-time internship. Anupam, you can do your thesis with a company, and you can get paid for the 20 hours per week which you'll be doing. So you can't work 40 hours during your student visa. That is not allowed at all. Even in your vacation time or whatever holiday period, it's not allowed. Unlike in other countries where it is allowed during the vacation time.
Yeah.
I don't think Germany allows you to work more than 20 hours.
Yes.
Great. So good. Thanks a lot, Mihir, for joining us. Very insightful, lot of understanding which our student would have got. It's a pleasure to have you on board with us, and look forward to interacting you in future. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the invite. I'm very much thankful for and very much open to share my experience so that all the new students who would come, they would have an insight of it. Like when I came, I didn't have much of the idea of it. I was quite new here, so I know what all questions we have, how restless we are, like how would it be, how the job scenario would be. It was I had gone through the same thing, so I understand if they have the queries, and I'm happy to answer it.
Great. Have a nice day, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day.